855-NJ-DIET or NJDiet.com.
Listen to AM 560 The Answer online at 560theanswer.com, on the AM 560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan, and in for Amy J this morning, Charles Thomas, former ABC7 political reporter.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. And we're pleased to be joined by Matt Whitaker, who's the former acting attorney general of the United States. He played, more importantly, he played tight end for the University of Iowa Hawkeyes, who I believe have Iowa State tomorrow in state rivalry. He's also the author of Above the Law, the inside story of how the Justice Department tried to subvert President Trump. Matt Whitaker, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Hey, good morning. It's good to be with you again. Sorry I only have a few minutes today.
No problem. I know you got to get prepared for the big game tomorrow.
Yeah. I do. I got to watch a lot of film.
Did you have the occasion to interact with David Weiss while you were Attorney General?
Yeah, I did. You know, he was the U.S. Attorney up in Delaware.
Right.
So
what kind of guy was he? Is he?
So typically a U.S. attorney is a fairly dynamic individual because they've had to run the traps to get the political appointment in their home district, and so they're typically very gifted politicians, but also really good lawyers. And with David, he was a little different. He was a much more cerebral. He had come out of the office. You know, he was certainly a friendly guy, but he just wasn't the same as most of the U.S. attorneys that I interacted with. Now, I didn't have a deep interaction with him. It was just when we would get together with the U.S. attorneys, and it's a group because I was a U.S. attorney and the Bush administration had a certain affinity for it, understood that we could get a lot of our policies done through and with the U.S. attorneys.
What is your read then on his performance with this Biden probe? Now, especially now that he's special prosecutor. Yeah. I mean, is it what it appears to be that this forthcoming indictment on gun charges is a farcical cover for the flop of this plea deal they tried to arrange previously?
Yeah, well, when I was U.S. attorney, I would have never done this deal that they're doing with him, and so we're proposed to do the diversion together with the misdemeanors and letting the statute of limitation run on the most serious charges on the tax case. And so, I questioned right there from the start what was happening as part of the investigation. The whistleblowers have given us a pretty clear picture as to what's going on with him, and I think that this seems like a sweetheart deal. I don't think anybody becomes U.S. attorney without some involvement from the Bidens in Delaware because they just control the politics up there so significantly.
Yeah. So do you anticipate that he? Is your read, even from afar, that he is going where the facts lead now that he's been sort of publicly humiliated, at least among half the population, perception-wise, that he's going to go wherever this goes beyond Hunter Biden, even to the big guy?
No. Come on. This is not kind of what's happening.
I'm just asking. There
was a philosophical question more than anything, but yeah, I think you're going to see. This is a different route to the same result. It's trying to get Hunter off with the least consequential charges. And so, if they were really doing this case, they would be talking about the Foreign Agent Registration Act. They'd be talking about the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, and they'd be talking about, they would have done the tax cases. So, this is going to just be, as we call it in Iowa, lipstick on a pig.
Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State in the state of Georgia, had an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal this week. I can't keep Trump off the ballot. Anyone who believes in democracy must let the voters decide. Former Attorney General Michael Mukasey has a piece where he argues that Article 3 of Section of the 14th Amendment, Equal Protection Clause, that the left and some on the right are suggesting could disqualify the president from running for office is a complete misread of that provision. What is your opinion about the cases that are being made that Trump should be removed? He shouldn't be allowed to run for office, particularly the 14th Amendment claim.
Yeah, I think Casey's right. I typically not always agreed with Michael, but he's certainly a federal judge, and he's learned in not only federal law but especially the Constitution. And the 14th Amendment was passed, right after the Civil War, and everyone understood what an insurrection and a rebellion was at the time. They would have never imagined that would be applied in this case. And I just think it's anybody that thinks that's a serious legal argument is either a Trump hater or a terrible lawyer. There's really nothing in between in there.
Before we let you go, what legal counsel generally would you provide President Trump with all these trials he's facing, or maybe have you provided him?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't. I don't represent the president. I'll be with him Saturday at the Iowa State game. But we don't typically get into, his cases because he has lawyers in each and every case. And I would say, he's going to have to fight it like a multi-front battle, like you would in any theater. And that is that he's going to have to rely on his lawyers to, make the tactical decisions. The strategy should be a complete win on each front. And in each case, I mean, there are so many novel legal theories, whether that's the application of the, Sarbanes-Oxley Act in the first Jack Smith case, or actually the second Jack Smith case, or whether it's the RICO, conspiracy statute in the Georgia case. Each case, I think, just has they've just stretched the law beyond its breaking point, and I think the appeals courts are going to have a heyday, putting these prosecutors back in their box.
He is Matthew Whitaker, former acting AG for the United States, former tight end for the University of Iowa, the author of the book Above the Law, the inside story of how the Justice Department tried to subvert President Trump. Matt Whitaker, thanks as always for joining us. Good luck to your Hawkeyes.
Yeah, we'll do a longer one next time, but thank you. Go Hawks.
Very good. Matt Whitaker joined us on the Turnkey.Pro answer line.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Greetings, friends. Sebastian Gorka here. You've probably been hearing my colleagues and I talking about investing